look at 10.7, which is equations of a circle. We're going to write the equations of a circle and use it to graph and solve the problem. I know it says graph, but it's really not that hard. Marquette, you need to have your eyes open or I'm going to keep calling you out. All right, we're looking at example 1. We're going to find the center and the radius of the circle. Do you guys see this right here? This is equation of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals radius squared. Okay? So h and k are your center. Your radius is your square. So I'm going to explain this next problem as slowly as I can, and then we're going to go over others like it. We've got x minus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared. You shouldn't be writing any of this down, equals 9. Okay. Now, let me explain this one, and then I will have your help for the next one, okay? So, I can see right here that this is my h, this is my k, and this is the square of my radius. So, the opposite of negative 2 is 2. The opposite of negative 5 is 5. Right there, that's the center of my circle. Okay? Your radius, I'm just going to put r for radius because I will misspell it every time, and you know that will actually happen, is the square root of that last number. What's the square root of 9? 81. Not the square root. Okay? So it's 3. That's it. And I'm going to show you how graphing this is going to be super easy.
So, like, you don't even have to, like, solve the equation. It's basically just take stuff out of the equation.
And say what they stand for. Yes.
Wow, this will be easy.
Yes, it is. Okay. So B is x plus 5 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 36. So does somebody want to raise their hand and tell me what the center is? Yes. Yep. Somebody want to raise their hand and tell me what the radius is? Yes, Crystal? Yep. Because the square root of 36 is 6. Remember your radius has a little 2 next to it, so we took the radius and we squared it. Are we okay with where the center is?
Yeah. The center is there because it's like 2 negatives like positive, so that's what it's doing.
Right. Because if we did x plus 5 equals 0, we'd solve and we get x equals negative 5. Kind of a thing. Okay, let's look at C. We've got y minus 1, x minus 1 squared plus y equals 81. This is a tricky one. Let's talk about the center. You guys get I'm on C. I don't have enough room and I write too big. What's the opposite of negative 1? Okay, so that part's easy.
It's be 0.
0. I knew it. Good. Because there's nothing being added or subtracted from y, so we know it would have to be 0. Y should actually be squared on your paper, though. That's a typo. Okay, what is the radius? 9. Because the square root of 81 is 9. Should we do the next 3? Because I think I'm missing a couple of you. Okay. We've got x plus 7 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals 5. Let's first talk about the center. Jada, what do you think the center would be?
Negative 7, negative 8.
Okay. So that's just the opposite. Now here's the hard part, Jada. What would the radius be?
I was just going to say square root of 5.
That is the correct answer.
Oh.
That.
You don't make that decimal.
You can if you want. I would give you credit either way. Yeah. You want to try F? We know that E, let's just say E out loud. What would the center be for E?
0.
Okay, and what would the radius be? Okay, let's look at F. Who's saying it? Who wants to? I heard somebody say it out loud. You want to finish? Go ahead.
Would be 5 and 1/5.
5 and 1/2 would be your center, or 0.5. Those are the same thing. What would your radius be? What's the square root of 9? What's the square root of 4?
That should have been
So I got a question asked If we find the square root of 9/4, can we leave it just as a fraction, 3/2? Yes. If you want to change it into a mixed number or a decimal, that is fine as well. Okay, so we feel good about this. Let's look at some of these other problems. Oops. I'm going to actually just move this. Edit. Copy. Hold on, Miss Ruby has to say things out loud as she does them, or she starts doing what you say instead of what she's supposed to do. Okay, yes. Request.
So the
I just did F on the board.
I know.
Yes. Okay.
So for the radius, it would be 9/4 with an angle root.
Square root. So you got 3/2. Yep. Okay. So if we're looking at example 2, it gives us the center and a radius, and we've got to put it in this form. You know, it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals radius squared. Okay, so for example 2, it says the center is 4, 1. I'm going to do it in just 1 second. 4, -1, and the radius is 6. I'm going to do the first one, and then we'll help with the others. So we just do x minus 4 squared. See, the x goes with the x. That makes sense, right? Plus y plus 1 squared equals 6 squared is 36. Does that make sense to everybody? Should we do one of these together?
Can we do the next one?
Sure.
All right, would it be x plus 5 squared?
So we've got, are you doing B or C? You're doing B?
B.
Okay. So you're going to do
X plus 1.
x plus 1 squared plus
Y plus 5
y
squared.
plus 5 squared equals what?
2.4.
Because 3.2 times 3.2 is 10.4? 10.2. That's B. Everybody feel okay about that? Yes.
On the test, we're going to have to solve it. I'm just leaving that.
You're just leaving like that. There wouldn't be any solving. Okay. So you would just have to write it in an equation. Yeah. Okay. So let me give you a harder one. Here is the center, -2, 4, and here is a point on the circle.
So we have to find the slope.
You gotta find the distance.
Good. And how do you know that? Because if we have a circle
The radius
with a
is halfway.
center and we have a point, that would be the radius. Okay? So let's find the radius first. We know we're going to use the distance formula, which is the square root of y2 minus y1 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared. So do you guys think this is the most common formula we use in
I
this class?
think that you should
Yeah,
like
it's
us do this.
Okay, so we have y2. I hear a lot of talking, but it's not really anything but complaining. 2 minus 4 squared plus 0 minus a -2 squared. So I used 2 minus 4 squared, 0 minus a -2 squared, so this becomes positive. So we get 2 minus 4 is -2, -2 squared is 4. Yeah. I am. I have a problem. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 squared is? What's 4 plus 4? So let's just use it, leave it as the square root of 8. Okay? And now we have to put it in that form. Remember that form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals radius squared. So let's take our center. Am I going too fast?
So we use the same center, don't we?
Yes. The center stays the same. We've got our radius. Can I go on? X plus 2 plus y minus 4 equals what?
Square root of 8.
What is the square root of 8 squared? 8 squared is 64. The square root of 8 squared is 8.
Why would you do that? Oh,
Because it has to be squared.
That's really easy.
Yes. Do you want to do one more like this, or you feel okay?
Yes.
Let's do one more.
No, that was too long.
It was too long. It'll be okay. So here's my center. And here's a point on it. Point on circle. How about that? Does that sound good? Just Murphy's abbreviation makes sense? Okay, so we have that this is H and this is K, right? All we've got to find is R. So how do we find the radius? We find the distance between the center and a point on the circle. So we take the square root of y minus y squared plus x minus x squared. Okay, 3 minus 3 is 0. Square root is 0. This becomes positive. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 squared is? What's the square root of 16? Okay, so now let's put this into our whole thing. We've got x plus 2 squared plus what comes next? Y minus 3 squared. And what goes in for the radius? 16. Good. Last thing we're going to do is graph. Okay? It sounds really bad. It is so easy. Wait till I show you how to do it. Wait till I show you how to do it. Okay. For A, I'm given x minus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 25. So let's write two things at the bottom. Let's write the center. What is the center for this? Who wants to raise their hand and tell me? Raise your hand and tell me. Who wants to raise their hand and tell me? Who wants to tell me the center? But raise their hand and tell me. Crystal?
1 to negative 3.
1 and negative 3. Okay, who wants to tell me what the radius is? Please raise your hand and wait till I call on you. Elijah. What is the radius? Eric? 5. Okay, so watch. This is how simple it is. You ready? You're going to put a dot on 1, negative 3. So I go over 1, down 3. Now, we're going to count our radius in 4 directions. Our radius is 5, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Horrible?
No.
She said to put the point. You have to draw it.
You must have the actual circle because otherwise you did not graph a circle.
You graph the point.
You graphed 5 points.
That could be a square.
Well, it's your attention of making it as smooth as a circle as possible. All right. Let's do these. Okay. Please raise your hand. Wait till we call on and tell me what the center is. Please raise your hand. Wait till we call on and tell me what the center is. Eunice? Thank you. Please raise your hand and tell me what the radius is. Please wait till we call on. Anthony? Okay. So I'm going to put my first dot. I'm going to count over 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First dot. How many more dots do I have to make? Okay. So I count over 2, 2, 2, and 2, and I have a circle. How far did I go? I went over 2, up 7, because it's an X and Y. How do we feel? Want to do the next ones?
No.
No.
Should I do D?
No.
Well, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, no, wouldn't it be negative 3, 0?
So it'd be negative 3, 0 as my center, and what's my radius?
4.
Okay. So negative 3, 0.
So we good?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That was really easy.
Told you.
I hope tomorrow is.
Tomorrow is just reviewing.